And welcome back to another OVR weekly shooting drill. This week's shooting drill is maybe not so much a drill as it is something to practice, and something you can practice here at OVR. In the past, we've covered 1- and 2-man CQB room entries with open doorways and how to pie that doorway off. Now we're actually going to cover how do you approach a closed door. Now, one of the things we're not going to cover is breaching a door. That's not something you're going to do in the civilian world. Breaching is using a shotgun to pull the lock open or kicking it open. You know, we're teaching you how to do this at your home. And so with that, you're going to approach the door. We're going to explain latch side versus hinge side, a push versus a pull. And then we're going to go over your footwork, which is really one of the most important parts of room entry. And this will cover the basic doors you're going to run into at your own home. So for starters, you want to know a couple of things about the door that you can determine just going up to it. First thing you want to know is the latch side. The latch side is where the handle is. Now this handle has a little shaft coming off the side. It could be a knob. It could be a push. There's different types of handles. Not important. The important thing is what side is that. The second thing is that if that's the latch side, that's got to be the hinge side. And that's going to determine partly which direction you come in to open the door. So I'm going to turn it over to Michael to talk about the inward versus outward.
So if it's a push door, you're always going to, or not always, but generally speaking, you're going to want to be on the hinge side of the door. So that way, when I go to enter, I can just flow into the room just like that. Now, if it's a pull door, you're going to want to be on the latch side of the door, so that way you can pop it open. You're not having to maneuver around the door.
And we're going to cover the pull side here in just a second. We'll flip the door around, be able to show both sides on how to enter that. So on this case, the latch side is here, hinge side is there. This is a push or an outward door. So it's very important to work on your footwork and your positioning of your hands. So one of the things you always want to make sure if you're going to be entering the room is we don't want him to enter the room with his pistol holstered, because then if he has to react, it's too late. So you always want to make sure you're armed and ready. Now, as always, we have our laser pistols here at OVR. So, we've obviously cleared these from any projectiles or anything dangerous. So flagging is always an important thing, no matter what you're doing with a weapon. And so flagging is not just flagging your teammate, it's also yourself. So if you look, if I reach for the handle, sorry about that, Michael. If I reach for the handle and my pistol is here, I could potentially shoot myself in the hand. So I want to make sure my pistol is up and out of the way and not pointing at my arm directly, and I don't want to cross that path. I also don't want to have it up and pointing at Michael. So in this case, so it's a two-person entry, I'm going to be on the latch side. He's on the hinge side. This is an outward or a push door. He's going to be the first one to enter the room. If you look at my footwork here, I'm in a bad position, because if I have to enter, I've got to kind of cross my feet, and you can see how awkward that is trying to cross and rotate. So I'm going to want to have my feet in this position sort of twisted. Michael, you want to talk about your footwork there?
So I have my right leg forward, left leg back, so that way as soon as he opens this door, if you want to go ahead and open it real quick, you'll notice my first step is going to be with my left foot, and then I'm in the doorway.
All right, so as you can see, we've turned the door around the other way. Michael is now on the latch side. I'm now on the hinge side, but you can see the hinges right here. By seeing the hinges, then I know that this is going to be a pull or an inward door. And so that's going to determine the way that we enter. Now, I'll just show you the bad way, and that would be if I'm the one that wants to enter from this side. So for me to enter from here, I would have to pretty much open the whole door to try and come in. It's clearly so much easier if I open the door and let Michael go straight in, because then he has immediate vision into the room. There's no delay. Whereas I'm stuck behind the door. I can't really see what's going on. And this door happens to only open that 90 degrees. Again, there are some hinges that stop that. You never know. Every situation is different, so you have to train different ways. So in this situation, same as always, that if we both approach from the latch side, let's say, then what we want to do is have our weapons out, ready to go. Same as with a push door, I want to go ahead, pry the door off, making sure nobody opens. He's going to do the same. Now, that's one option where one man does that. Let's go over the second option. That second option, because if I do this, there's a split second that nobody's really looking at the door there. So the other option would be that I hold this position. I watch this door, make sure that hinges or that handle isn't moving, and he can pie off to the opposite side. So he pies and he's watching, and now I still remain as the one man. Now he would open the door, I would step in and come around. Which way is better? 6 and 1 1/2 dozen the other. Every situation is different. There's a lot of factors, and you just have to train together to be able to figure out who's going to do what. Because if I continue to go forward and I pie, he could feel me move. He immediately takes my position as I watch the door, and then I'm over here. And then I can step back away from the door, and then we can both enter. Obviously, a pull door is a little bit more awkward for the second person. So what we're going to cover now is we're going to cover it just in a different view, and we're going to kind of show you from both sides. One time we're going to approach together from the latch side, which is my side. Second time we're going to do it from the hinge side, and we're going to show how you would do this where you would pie it off once you've opened the door. So I'll go to Michael's side. We'll start this off from the hinge side first. So you can see he's got the hand on my shoulder, giving me the signal to know that he's ready to go. I'm ready. I'm watching. I get to the latch side. All right, so we're going to run this one more time. This time we're going to show it coming from the latch side. And as you can see, we've switched where Michael is now the one man. So give him the signal that I'm ready. In this case, one man's going to stay in position just because we can do it and we decided to. So he's going to do that. I'm going to come around him. I'm watching the door and look at my footwork. I'm ready. So as you can see, we're about to approach again from the latch side. I'm the one man, and we've decided that I'm going to be the one to pie on this. So as I come up, my pistol is going to stay focused pretty much right along this edge here. And as I rotate, because that's where I'm going to be able to see if anybody's going to open that door. Now, it's a pull door. He's going to be the first one to go in. So I'm going to get myself into position as best I can to follow him directly in. All right, now we're coming in from the hinge side now. This time Michael's the one man, but I'm going to do the pie this time. So come around, he's going to hold focus on that door, making sure that nobody comes in. One thing you'll notice, I did back myself into the side here. That's not wrong. That just seemed more comfortable. My feet are ready to go. Immediately jump in and ready to rock. Okay, so closing out this drill, this is not the only way to do this. We preach this all the time. There's really no one way to do any of these things. Every situation is going to be different. You'll hear terms like MET-TC, things like that. Every time you do this, it's going to be a little bit different. And so that's the importance of training, of practice, and working together. You saw how sometimes I pied, sometimes he pied, depending on if we were one or two, and it changed around. And that could be your SOP. But again, you have to practice that. You have to train that and be able to work it. The door we have here, we're able to move around wherever we want in the room. Put curtains up to the side to simulate a wall, and actually put targets inside the room so that when you come in, you have to engage targets. And we can do that, really customize it to whatever we want. Michael, is there anything you wanted to add regarding two-man entry using a door that's closed?
So I don't really have too much to go over on the two-man entry itself, mainly just what OVR offers. Going off of what Ed said is we can customize everything. So a lot of these bigger training companies, they offer these CQB courses, and then you'll see them and they'll go in, it's a completely empty room. Something here at OVR is that we're able to fully customize everything so that you don't get used to what I call Hollywood syndrome, where they go in and it's a completely empty room. I'm assuming none of you watching this have a single room in your house that doesn't have at least one piece of furniture in it. And it goes back again to what Ed said. This is something that you need to train repeatedly so that you can become proficient in it. So that way, if you do have to actually perform this drill in real life, you're not doing it for the first time.
There is one more thing I'd like to cover real quick, and that's going to be, we did it with a pistol. We find that it's easier with a pistol. That's how I kind of trained. I did learn how to use the rifle initially. Michael uses the rifle more in the infantry. So I do want to kind of just show a slight difference on your pistol versus your rifle, just on the size and handling it, trying to open up a door.
All right, so the main thing that you're going to notice with the rifle is just the maneuverability. So as Ed had discussed with the pistol, it's a much smaller weapon. So you're going to be able to bring it in a lot closer to your chest. You're not going to have to worry about, this long barrel hitting anything or pointing in somewhere you don't want it to. So from here, as you can see, I have the buttstock of the rifle broken over my shoulder. So that way when he opens up that door and I go in, so I'm here and then I have to punch out, right? But as you can see, instead of just having the pistol in my chest, I'm having to bring this rifle off of my shoulder completely, and that way I don't hit the muzzle on the door frame, catch it on the door handle, anything like that.
And I'll just be honest and admit that the other day we were doing it together. I was using the rifle, which I haven't done CQB in years with a rifle. And I did. I smashed right into that door frame and jammed that thing right into my shoulder. It was hilarious, but it also hurt a little bit. So, just whatever you're using, just train with the weapon you're using. Again, whether it be rifle or pistol, but just make sure you're training just like you would fight. All right. Any other last minute things besides that?
I think that wraps it up.
Okay. Thanks again. We appreciate it. And we want to make sure that you guys come in, test these out. Post some comments. I know there's a lot out there on how we covered this, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people making comments on, oh, we did this wrong, we did that wrong. That's fine. Come on in. Show us a better way.